will display the Welcome everyone to this webinar about the important partnership between Florida International University and Fusion Cyber. Today we'll talk about what is on a lot of folks' minds, which is how do we become AI native in this changing landscape, this changing workforce? It's estimated that only about 2 to 3 million humans across the world are using AI, paid AI. Everyone's using free or open AI, and not seeing the greatest performance with that, but companies are looking for AI natives to really propel them into the future. When we talk about open cyber jobs, there's about 514,000 open jobs right now, and you can find that at cyberseek.org, around 23,000 in Florida alone. But with AI coding and codex assistance, developers are pumping out 10 to 100x more code on a daily basis, which are only opening up even more cybersecurity vulnerabilities. So just as it's important to get AI native cyber training, it's also important to understand how to code with AI securely, or as an executive to understand how the art of the possible in a task is in a job. When we say jobs at risk there, but it's kind of a misnomer. It's really this transition. I had a conversation earlier today and someone was saying, well, how are you getting 250,000 more submissions of applications to a government agency, but they have half the staff and you're building AI agents? Isn't that replacing humans? And no, but I think there are certain tasks that will be replaced, but they may be more manual tasks, like proofing a submission is the right font and point size, or having AI agents that automate penetration testing, or writing reports. In cybersecurity, there is a lot of reports depending on the compliance and the industry that you're in. So I think these numbers, even though we'll go through this reskilling and some people will leave what they're doing, the number of folks that we'll need in cybersecurity is only going to increase. In fact, just today there was an incident of someone using Claude from Anthropic and prompting it in a way that they were able to hack into the Mexican government and steal, I think it was 15 million terabytes of files. But what they were doing was they were basically prompting it piece by piece. So Anthropic never had the full picture of the hack, the social engineering that they were doing. So we have to design secure systems. And the type of security is only changing as rapidly as the field is. I'm going to turn it over to Julian, who's going to talk a little bit about Florida International University now.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Hi, I'm sorry. I mean, no, it's gonna be me talking. This is my name is Tina Valladares, and Julian is also part of our team. He is the program coordinator, so I let him introduce himself. And I am Clementina. I go by Tina Valladares, and I'm the program manager for the cyber policies program. So Mike Asensio, the director of the program, he was unable to connect because he's traveling. And so I let Julian introduce himself, and then I'll jump into the information that we have.
Thank you, Tina. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julian Esquivel. As Tina mentioned, I am the program coordinator for cyber policy at the Jack D. Gordon Institute for Public Policy. My role here is simply working through coordination of everybody's applications and working closely with Tina and Mike to make sure everything goes smoothly.
Thank you, Julian. Uh, Thank you. Just I want to thank you, uh, Chris, and the team in the Fusion Cyber team, and is for this amazing partnership with you. And we're very flattered to participate in this partnership with Fusion Cyber. So about Florida International University, for those that are probably not very familiar with Florida International University, FIU is part of the 11 public university in the state of Florida. We are number one in social mobility, number three in as a national public university, and we are number 46 as a public university, and top 3% of research production, and we are in the top 15 public research university. So we have a wide range of nationalities in our university, and we're very proud to be part of our community and offer education opportunity to local students and as well as international students. Next slide. Meet our team. Okay, our team, we have Dr. Brian Fonseca, who is the director of the Jack D. Gordon Institute, which that's, the institute that our program falls, under the umbrella of Jack Gordon Institute. Mike Asensio, he is the director of the Cyber Policy Program. Myself, program manager, and Julian Esquivel, program coordinator. Next slide. About the Jack Gordon Institute. FIU Jack D. Gordon Institute for Public Policy, known as JGI, was founded in 1985. And the idea was to establish, promote, and advance the study of public policy and national security studies. So we have 6 different areas within our institute. We focus on academic, cyber policy, professional education, prosecutorial policy, national security, and research. Next slide. So I will not be focused a lot on this slide because Chris already spoke about it, about the cybersecurity workforce, I'm just sharing here some data. And as you can see, the opportunities in cybersecurity are, wide. And I think that's not going to change, it's going to grow. So having the opportunity for you to educate, to get an education in cybersecurity, AI, cybersecurity, I think is the best decision. Is as you can see, there are 514,000 jobs available in the US just now. So this is the time, for those who wants to transition from career, I think, this is the time to do it. And only in Florida, there are over 23,000 jobs opening, only in the state of Florida. And right now, currently, the U.S. employ 1,300,000, employed in this area. So this is a, like I said, a great opportunity, and you are making, the best decision. And alongside with Fusion Cyber, we have an amazing curriculum and an amazing, you'll be, set with the skill that you need in order to obtain and transition from career or to go higher if you are already in cyber. So I give back the floor to Christopher.
Thank you, Tina. And if you go to the cyberseek.org website, you can also drill down on zip codes and states to see openings in your state. I will say the numbers are probably lower than what's actually open out there. One of the things that we have on the platform is that we are actively scraping for jobs on a nightly basis across AI, cyber, coding, quantum, data center technicians. And we're actively determining which jobs are real jobs or ghost jobs. So it's not just the education component. There's career advice, there's resume builders to get through applicant tracking software, and understanding what is that real job. In fact, we're taking those jobs, those position descriptions, and we use that to help update the curriculum. We're a little bit interesting in because we're so AI native, we're treating the curriculum like software, and we regenerate it every time we teach. And we have monthly starts. So you're always learning about the latest and greatest as it relates to cybersecurity and AI. So I'm the founder and the CEO. On the call today is Corey, our head of admissions, and Emily, our head of operations. And we're here to answer your questions. We've been building workforce and training companies for the better part of 20 years and are really scaling what we're doing here to support you in the workforce. A little bit of background, our LinkedIn profiles. This is really important. We actually have a graded assignment as soon as you start the program to link in with all of our executive team. Our network is your network in finding a job. Oftentimes, you'll hear statistics that when a job is released on LinkedIn, they're so overwhelmed with AI submissions that the job is closed within 6 to 8 hours. So the best way really to get that job is to use someone in your network to get that resume to get that interview. A little bit more, we have Jason and Corey here that heads our business development. And then we've got a great CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, Board of Advisors, and intelligence leaders. So everyone from Rizwan, who's the CISO at Alliant Group, Greg has a lot of experience in healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Anthony comes from Deloitte and Optiv and Ernst & Young, HSBC. Dan McDonald had a long career with the US Navy and the National Security Agency. He's up in Boston. Mary Haynes was at Charter Communications, Spectrum Cable. Again, we want you to link in with our advisory board as you're looking for jobs. Tom Verbeck was the first cyber commander on the US Air Force in Europe. Sam Oliver had a long career at the Air Force in J6. Mike Rader is the CISO at Rocket Software that does a lot of work with billing across AT&T and Verizon and others. It's a $2 billion software company backed by Bain Private Equity. Ira is one of the managing directors of cybersecurity at Kroll, Kroll, known for their physical security, but they do a lot of cyber advisement as well. And then Kevin is a long-term CISO and all things email and marketing and so forth. It's about 100 plus courses on our program, on our platform. We don't want that. So we do have something to meet your need. And when you speak with our admissions counselors, it's really more of a career interview. We want to get to know you. We want to get to know your background. And there's probably 5 questions or 6 questions that we ask. Were you in the military or a veteran? What was your MOS? Tell us about your family, education, where you're located, if you want to work remotely, if you want to relocate. Then get really specific on technologies. What technologies have you used? Have you used the cloud? Have you programmed in C++? Or are you a pure career switcher? 50% of our students are career switchers that go through the platform, the program. The other 50% have an IT background. For those career switchers going through the program, we'll have you take 3 free Cisco Net Academy courses in the 2 weeks prior to the start of the program. And that's really to get the basics of computer science, networking, and operating systems. There's a lot of terminology and acronyms in cybersecurity, so we want you to, start right off the gate with knowing some of those basics. On average, we see about 102% increase in salaries across the 6-month program. And we track that for 3 years. So we have our alumni report back to us where they're working, their job title, their benefits, their salary. So we know what's going on in the marketplace, who's hiring, and what skills are they looking for. So the 24-week transition, and we do this both on the workforce side, is typically on Monday or Wednesday nights from 6:30 to 8:30, or it may be on a Tuesday, Thursday, just depending on the start is. The next program starts on March 14th, and the first 8 weeks will cover the risk management framework. So think of that as the project management paperwork aspect to cybersecurity, governance, compliance. The second 8 weeks will be around cloud security. So think of Azure, AWS, Microsoft. How do you secure the cloud? A lot of people are moving their applications to the cloud. And then the third section is on cyber defense. So how does offensive cyber work, often called red teaming and purple teaming and so forth. Along the way, I mentioned those career support guides. And then what's really key, again, we want you to be AI native. There's over 300 AI agents that are helping you as you go through the program. But we also want to get those logos, that keyboarding experience. So when you go out to the virtual cyber range, which is hosted in the cloud, you're making a remote desktop connection to a virtual machine for Linux, for example, and you're learning how to set up endpoints, or you're making a remote connection to Splunk. Splunk is owned by Cisco. It's called a SIEM, SIEM. What it does is it's a log aggregator. So if you think about all the systems that we have in a given company, from email to firewalls, intrusion detection systems, the OT side of cyber, other technology, as well as the IT side, they all have events that are going on inside of those systems, and they're creating logs. What Splunk does is it aggregates all that in one place for cybersecurity teams to understand what's going on, what are the threats and the vulnerabilities. There are live lectures. We ask that you show up, have your camera on, you're ready to participate. But we also know if life gets in the way, all of those lectures are archived. So they're automatically recorded, and we upload the video to the course either that night or the next day so that you can go through and watch that video. Everything's on one platform. We call it beaconai.fusioncyber.co. That has your book content, that has your archived videos, that has your cyber range exercises, your assignments, your quizzes. For those of you that want to take the Security Plus, the CISSP, the CISA, we also have exam prep built in. So it'll ask you 50 questions at a time, help you get ready to take those. Those industry certification exams are really critical in cybersecurity. Oftentimes, they are kind of a fundamental requirement to get the job, to get the salary. And on average, I think all of them start at $100,000 or up for that annual salary. And if you have a clearance, if you were a veteran and you had a secret clearance or a top secret clearance, and you want to go work for one of the defense contractors or the booming startups in the Department of War ecosystem, oftentimes you can make 2 to 3x that with that clearance. So, and if you had a clearance and it expired, there are companies that are looking for those, as long as there's nothing that happened in between, and reestablishing that. The other thing that we do, and I'll mention it in another slide, but it's called Range Sherpa. So, if you're that career switcher, don't get scared. We actually have the idea of an expert that's watching you as you're moving through the cyber range, through those virtual machines. So the analogy would be if you were in that physical computer lab on campus, instead of taking a 100% virtual program, you could raise your hand when you're having a problem. An expert would come over, look over your shoulder, and they'd be talking you through how to navigate the logs for Splunk or set up those Linux endpoints. What Range Sherpa does is it uses computer vision. It takes screenshots every 5 to 8 seconds, and it's talking to you based on the instructions for the lab and the rubric to grade the lab on how to solve those complex technical labs. We let you take the labs as many times as possible. There's probably 1 to 2 labs per week across the 24 weeks. And as you finish each lab, there's actually a button built right in to post that lab to your LinkedIn profile. Again, so you get those logos up on your LinkedIn profile, like Splunk, like AWS, like Azure, that hiring managers are looking for. Continuous improvement, we're always open to listening. We have a catch-all email called beaconai@fusioncyber.com, I should say. If you have an academic issue, if you have a technical issue, if you have other types of issues, you can email us there, and one of our human teammates will answer, or one of our AI agents will help you. So again, we want to have that comprehensive coverage to make sure you get to where you need to go. So I mentioned Beacon AI. This is where your textbooks and your materials will be for each of the 3 courses that are 8 weeks each. The live lectures will be in there. And then there's AI tutors that are built in into the platform. So as you're learning about cybersecurity laws and regulations on the right-hand side here, you can go into a Socratic tutoring session, and the tutor will actually ask you about what you know about this and help you comprehend it. 24/7, always available for you there. And the live lectures, I should note, are taught by a human expert. These are folks that have a master's or PhD, and they're working in the industry, so they can talk about stories that they've had and things like that. Exam prep is built in. We talked a little bit about that. And then tactical interview prep is interesting because what this will do is, based on the URL for a job, maybe it's a SOC analyst with Procter and Gamble in Cincinnati, it'll actually interview you. It uses computer vision to provide feedback on both your technical answers, as well as, are you in a well-lit room? Do you have good lighting? Do you show empathy? Are you paying attention during that interview, et cetera? The fresh jobs database, again, we're scraping those jobs as you're applying for jobs, marking jobs if they're ghost jobs, they don't exist, but companies are advertising them. Or, the job description that they've posted is not really what the hiring manager wants to know or wants to hire. So we want to know about that as well, so we can tune that. And then there's a cover letter builder and a resume builder. Again, especially for our career switchers, maybe you're a nurse or you're a teacher, you kind of got one foot in one career and one foot in the other career. So how do you craft that resume for a SOC analyst and then have all your content to craft a resume for a security architect or another job description? We keep that all in one place. It knows about the labs that you've completed on the platform and so forth. But again, make sure you link in with our network. Use our network as your network as you're out there applying for jobs. The Fusion Cyber AI ranges, these are all the virtual machines that you'll be interacting with. Again, to get in cyber parlance, to get those keyboarding skills. And the Range Sherpa links here. We'll send this video out afterwards, but this is actually what's, that expert that's watching you and helping you complete your tasks. So we have a couple of different options. We have cohort-based learning. It's a 24-week program. You take the 3 courses. It's instructor-led. That starts at around $6,000. We have self-paced options, so around $2,000 per 8-week course, but you're taking it at your own pace. You still have the live lectures in the self-paced option that are pre-recorded. So there's not you're not meeting on a weekly basis with the instructor and answering questions, or asking questions, I should say. And then there's multiple payment plans that Corey and the admissions team can work with you on there. If you go to fusioncyber.co/finance, you can see all of those various plans right there. And look, don't let scheduling conflicts or financial aid or financial constraints stop you from transforming your career. If you've got employer education benefits, we can work with you to invoice your employer on that as well. And we're here to help you start this career. And there's a little bit more there about the different options on AI, cyber, RMF, and defense. We have another program that's on learning to use AI to code securely. Really cool program. In fact, some of the students are on their last 4 weeks of the program. They've been embedded with our AI engineers, and they're actually building a drone radar project. What they're doing there is they're taking video of drones flying through the sky. They use AI to process the video, and then they're mapping them into a user interface for a radar, speed, altitude, etc. In the cyber program, the current team project that they're working on is they're doing a risk management framework. So all the paperwork, a plan of actions and milestones, a security assessment, controls, but they're doing it on Rain Sherpa, which is our production tutor. It uses about 12 different AI models. So you can actually say to a hiring manager, I did this team project. I know how to do the risk management framework. And oh, by the way, I was actually looking at a production AI agent system and writing the security paperwork on that. It's a boon for hiring. And then for those that are looking to get started on sort of AI for leaders, it's a 4-week program. We teach it at noon every Wednesday. And it's really about the art of the possible. A task isn't a job. It's not as technical as the other programs, but it gives you that understanding what we're doing on a department basis throughout the company, how you can apply that at your company, and so forth. Let me just pause there. Let's see if there are any questions so far. Okay. When you take the full 6-month, the 24-week program, we do reimburse up to $500 for taking one of the certificate exams. So you would schedule the exam for your Security Plus, your CISSP, or your CEH. You'd get your score that you would pass, and then you submit a form to us, and then we pay that reimbursement up to $500 total. And then the individual courses we talked about, there's some other courses there, including purple teaming, data center technicians, foundations of secure AI, quantum overview is a program we're working on, or you can bundle those together, the self-paced option versus the instructor-led for 4,200. Again, we're here to work with you to figure out what is the best financial offering. Just some background on some of our students, what they're saying. It was extremely beneficial. It was hands-on, gave me the experience that hiring managers were looking for. And thank you. What questions can I answer for folks? Well, don't be shy. Any questions? We'll send this out to the list of attendees, this video, so you can watch it on your own as well. But we appreciate your time and attendance today. Look forward to get you in the next cohort. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.